Hello there, welcome back to Titan Quest Let's Play. If you remember in the last episode, we've killed the Gorgons and now we came out here and there was this merchant here who I checked through some stuff. And I also want to show you here, if you remember this broken bridge back from Megara, remember the guys were fixing it, so this is a place where it's supposed to lead. So yeah, we're gonna continue along this path to, well, which will take us to Athens eventually. But I'll apologize already straight away, but there's not much substantial actually going to happen in this episode, which is going to be pretty much fighting monsters for the most part, and also going to explore one of the crypts full of undead. And it's going to be a pretty big crypt, so there's going to be a lot to clean out in it. But I was thinking maybe I'll mention, because there's still quite a few other game mechanics I could discuss at some point, and I was thinking that a few I can definitely discuss sometime in the next few episodes, probably spread them out a bit, but you guys can tell me if you want in which order you want me to tell them. But here are some of the ones which we could do. This stuff such as how does each of the attributes affect your stats, your overall stat, like what does strength do and what does intelligence do, all that stuff. Then also the mechanic of how the armor works, and also the mechanic of how the shield works, and also how piercing damage works. And then we've got stuff like how does damage over time work, you know, the damage over time which like poison and bleeding and even burn, things which go over time, how do they work. And also there's another one I remember, it was stuff such as when your DPS, damage per second meter, could actually be inaccurate. So all these are good things to be aware of, and I'll definitely go through all of them at some point in the next few episodes. But if any of them sound like something you guys really want to hear about, I'll try to prioritize in what order to tell them. And here we found the Shroud of Eternal Night formula, which is one of the artifacts. And we actually should get ourselves an artifact really soon, because it would be greatly helpful to us. And if you know about the artifacts, they actually were introduced in the Immortal Throne expansion. And yeah, there's three types of artifacts. There's lesser, there's greater, and there's divine. Lesser ones only require you to build them out of relics, charms, or sometimes scrolls. Greater ones require you to have at least one lesser artifact as one of the ingredients, and divine ones require you to have at least one greater artifact as one of the ingredients. So it's just that, so obviously greater and divine ones are harder to make. But if you've had enough characters through the game already, you should have plenty of ingredients to make all these artifacts. But it's not something you absolutely need to be able to win the game, it will greatly help you to have a good artifact equipped. And yeah, Shroud of Eternal Night is actually a really good early game artifact. It's probably one of the best, along with Soul Shiver. Those two are the best early game artifacts. Okay, what have we got here? So if you notice, we've been mostly fighting Maynards, centaurs and a bunch of pigs. But now we're gonna go into one of the crypts and gonna slay tons of undead. And also some other creatures like bats and Euronymii. Alright. That poison damage on our leg tip is doing a really good job. Okay then. Here's a crypt. And look at that. An orange, glowing orange bat. And that's Blastfang, one of the bat heroes. So as you can see, he's not too tough. And looks like a Blastfang lost his Batfang. And that's the 5th Batfang we can put to complete the charm, and that gives us some attack speed, which is pretty decent actually. It's a nice completion bonus. It could be handy for one of the weapons in the future. Around this area, if you notice, there's tons of Sepulchres, and that one's trapped. And that one is trapped as well. If you notice, there's plenty of Sepulchres here, which you can open and loot. And another one trapped one. That one's got poison. There's 3 traps mostly they have. There's fire, there's some kind of lightning thing like the storm, and then there's poison. But yeah, death. death is an interesting topic, isn't it? And if you know, in Greek mythology, the bringer of death was a deity called Thanatos. Although Thanatos was a brother of Hypnos, and Hypnos was a deity of sleep. And he was a son of Nyx and Erebus. Nyx is goddess of the night, and Erebus is like a god of darkness in the underworld. So, as you can see, it's quite an interesting theme there they've got. But Thanatos was actually kind of a nice deity in a way, because he reminds me of angel of death Azrael from the Abrahamic religions, because they kind of nurture the dead. They actually, in a way, like Anubis, I think, from Egyptian mythology even. But then they had also other deities of death in Greek mythology called the Keres, and we actually get to fight them in Act 4. And Keres were actually the ones who participated in wars usually, and they would decide who would die and how. Look at that, we can see some skeletons through the wall. And I know I'm a dick for doing this, but I couldn't help it. I had to cast Squall there. Huh. What's this? Essence of Golden Fleece. Golden Fleece, as I probably mentioned in one of the previous episodes, and you probably already know, it was this like a relic in Greek mythology. Why is it getting stuttery? It was a relic in Greek mythology that Jason and the Argonauts had to retrieve. And yeah, this is actually an interesting story as well. I don't know too well, but basically half-brother thing, or was it, or something, of Jason's father, whose name was Peleus. He was really power-hungry. And by the way, Peleus not to be confused with Peleus, spelled differently, who is Achilles' father. But no, Peleus, the bad one, he was really power-hungry, and he overthrew Jason's father and took the throne for himself. And then Jason was still a child then. But then later when Jason came back to the city, and what happens that one of the oracles told Peleus that he'd be overthrown by a guy with a single sandal, who was wearing one sandal. And Jason actually happened to lose his sandal when he came back to the city. And when Peleus found out about it, he kind of confronted him about it, and what he says that if you want to get the throne, then you have to get the golden fleece. And Jason said, "Alright, I'll go get it." So he was quite up for a challenge, you know. And so he got this crew who they called the Argonauts. And the Argonauts actually was a big crew and had a lot of heroes and other important figures from Greek mythology. And actually the other Peleus, the good one, who was Achilles' father, he was actually one of the Argonauts as well, along with Heracles. So it's quite a story, and it's actually quite a long journey they take through loads of different adventures, which I could probably talk about in one of the other episodes, but I might need to read up on that myself since I don't know it too well. Right, we're still in the crypt. This is deadly. Look at how many of them are coming, all with earth enchantment. So we're gonna cast Squall right here at the entrance to the room, and we're gonna batter them all. Look how nicely that cleaned them out. I don't know if you noticed, there was a helmet that I picked up earlier, but I decided not to equip because it was actually quite similar to the helmet I've got now, except it gave a bonus, some percentage to health regeneration. And you should actually keep in mind that stuff like percentage health regeneration actually might look really nice, and you think, wow, that's fantastic. But it's actually not that good. If you want to take full advantage of health regeneration, if you want that to be a defining stat for your character, for your build, you actually need to have a lot of it to actually make any difference. Because your base health regeneration is 1. So 1 point is getting regenerate every second. And if you add, say, extra 50% health regeneration, which might seem nice, but if you extra 50% to 1 health regeneration per second is only 1.5, so it's tiny. So if you actually want anything good to come of that, you actually need to have a lot of it to begin with. You need to have a lot of flat amounts. So say if you've got 50 health regeneration to start with, and you add 50% to it, 50% of 50 is 25, so that'll be 50 and 25. That'll give 75. That'll be a substantial difference, as you know. This is something you should keep in mind. And for health regeneration to be a good stat in, say, like legendary difficulty, you'd have to have it in at least 3-digit figures, because in legendary your health will be in the thousands, and monsters will be dealing something like tons of damage, like 500 or 1000 per hit. So why is every single sepulcher trapped here? Seriously. Right, there's not much left, just a couple more rooms, I think. There have been a few frost liches around here, which actually took us ages to take down. I'm still not entirely sure what it is. It's some kind of damage resistance they got. You might notice sometimes some frost liches seem to take very long to go down. Right, so we got a couple of limos here. I wonder what they've been doing around here with the dead. Probably playing hide and seek. Alright, that's the last room. Now we're just going to simply check all this, and I'll meet you outside of the crypt. See, we've explored everything. See you guys in a sec. Alright, and we're back out, and you probably notice the sound is freaking gone again. Yep, I'm not sure what happened there once more, but this is just a little bit at the end of the video anyway, so it's not too bad. I do hope to prevent this happening in the future though, because it really sucks. Just before we cross this bridge, there's a little part around here with some ichthyians, and sometimes turtles are in here as well. You don't really have to kill them, but as you know, if you're a completionist, or if you just want to get as much experience as possible and chances for gear, then you'd slaughter them as well. Even though they've just been chilling out here among all this nice cool water, probably cooling them down in this heat, and we just came in and whacked this leg tip up their anus. That wasn't nice. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll probably end the episode around here. We haven't managed to do that much in this episode. We've been exploring the crypt for the most part, but hopefully in the next episode we'll be able to accomplish a lot, and we're gonna fight Ancient Limos mini-boss and some other things. See you guys there.